Okay, so if I took the square root, of 16, what would that give me? 4. Okay, and if I took the square root of 25, what would that give me? Okay, and 24 is a little less than 25. So what number would that be? Roughly, okay? Obviously, like, I don't know exactly, but I know it's going to be in between 4 and 5, right? All right, same thing's going to happen on the square root of 7. Okay, so if I took the square root of 9, that would give me 3. If I took the square root of 4, that would give me 2. So what number should it be roughly? Okay, so obviously you can kind of estimate these even though you don't know the exact number. Okay, so okay, so really quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this little stop and jot. So on your paper, I want you to write this. You've got x squared plus 10x plus 25. This is what we call a perfect square trinomial. Okay, and the reason why it's called that is because we're going to take our b value, divide it by 2, and square it. So we're going to take 10 divided by 2, square it. What number does that give me? Okay, so that's why this is a perfect square trinomial. Okay, now when we factor this perfect square trinomial, we're going to get x plus b divided by 2 and square it. So what's my b divided by 2 in this scenario? That's 5, right? So I could factor it by saying x plus 5 squared. I want you to take a moment. I want you to try this problem on the right-hand side, this x squared minus 16x. You're trying to figure out what that third number is going to be, and then factor it, just like it has up here. Okay, take a second, write that down. Gotten. If you took negative 16 and divided it by 2 and you squared it, so negative 16 divided by 2 is what? Negative 8. Negative 8 squared is what? Positive 64. Okay. Now, when we want to write it out in factored form, we're going to do x plus b divided by 2. So that's going to be x minus 8 squared. Okay, the reason why it's negative is because their b term was also negative. Okay. Now, all of this is leading up to our discussion of circle equations of circles. Okay, so on your paper, I would title today equations of circles. Okay, I promise it's not super crazy. It's pretty easy. My last class was like, this is not easy. Okay, so it's supposed to be easy. So don't freak out with all these variables. I'm going to explain them in just a second. So the equation of a circle is this right here. Okay, so on your paper, I would write this out. Okay, your R is going to represent what you think it's going to be. So that's going to be radius. Okay, so this is going to be radius. Our H is going to be the X value of the center of the circle. And K is going to represent the Y of the center of the circle. Again, all of this is going to make sense in just a second. You're writing down this equation. You're writing down what they mean. So take a second, write that down. Okay, so on here, for this circle on this right-hand side, okay, the center is going to be 2, -2. Okay, so that point is 2, -2. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug that in to our equations of circle. Okay, so we're going to plug that into our equation of circle. So okay. So we're going to substitute that in. So we're going to put x minus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared. Now, notice how I changed the signs of them because this is 2, -2. When I substitute them in, they change the signs. Yes, ma'am. -1, -2. 2, -2. Oh, yeah, you're right. It should be -1. Oh, wow. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so that's one thing with this unit is it does like for some reason, they just create chaos. It's fine. My bad. I did that in the last class. Whew. Okay, so this is 2, -1. So this is going to be a positive 1 in the equation. That was an aggressive one. Okay, now my radius. How big is my radius? It's 1. Okay, so we're gonna have 1 squared, which is just 1, right? So all you're doing in this is just plugging into the formula. I can't believe I did that in the last class.
What, you left it like that, Miss Emmons? No, she made the same mistake.
No, in the equation, it's gonna be the opposite sign. Yeah,
Why?
because there's a negative already here in the equation. So it's opposite sign of it. Okay. Bizarre reason. But when we derive the equation of a circle, this is actually what happens. So we've got a circle, and let's say that we're trying to draw the radius and like make a right triangle, right? Okay. We've got the circle, we've got the radius, we've got this point that's called XY, which is right here. We've got the center, which is called HK. The distance from here to this point, which is dropped down, okay, is X minus H. The distance between this point and this point is Y minus K. Okay, so what I really need you to do is on your paper, draw this picture. I'm gonna make it make sense in just a second. Draw the picture first. So what is Pythagorean theorem really quick? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's plug in. Well, the distance between here and here is X minus H squared. And the distance between here and here is Y minus K squared. And then my radius, which is my hypotenuse, is R squared. What does this look like? Well, yeah, but what about what we just learned? Equation of a circle, right? Okay, so we use Pythagorean theorem, which also is very similar to distance formula, right? Okay, and it also allows us to derive the equation of a circle. Did you know that a circle is 2 pieces? Like it's got the top part and then it's got the bottom part. Okay, so fun fact, you're gonna learn something in accelerated pre-cal, okay, about this. Circles do come back. Yeah, pre-cal, it's coming back. Okay, so let's actually put this into practice, okay? So we're gonna do an example of these in just a second. Okay, so taking a look at example 1, okay? Taking a look at example 1, I want you to identify the center and the radius of this, okay? And then we're gonna talk about it. So go ahead and write down example 1. So on here, the center is going to be the opposite of these signs. So that's gonna be 1, -4. Does that make sense? Your radius is going to be the square root of whatever number's out here. So what's square root of 16? Okay, so your radius is gonna be 4. When I plot this, this is how it's gonna look. Don't make fun of my circle. I'm gonna have 1, -4, which is gonna be down here. That's the center. My radius is gonna be 4 units away in all directions. So I'm gonna count over 1, 2, 3, 4 in all directions. Okay, and then I'm going to connect all the dots on the outside. Again, don't laugh at my circle.
It's not that bad.
Well, fourth period has something to say.
That's 4.5. What does first period circles look like?
Oh,
Okay,
I
and
don't
then
know.
you just went and made it work.
Okay, that was, yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. You get the point. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing on this one. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on this one. This point right here is -2, 4. Okay, so go ahead and take a moment. We're writing the equation of the circle. Remember, the equation of a circle looks like this. Okay, and I want you to substitute in the things that you know. That's -2, 4. Okay, take a second, go ahead and plug that in. Okay, and see if you can find, okay, so when I plug in, I'm gonna get x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared, and my radius is 2, so that's gonna give me an r squared of 4. Thanks, babe. No, I'll bring them to him. Yep. Okay. Thanks, babe. Okay. All right, so take a second. You got these two problems, okay? Okay, one thing that you need to remember is, for instance, if I have something like an equation of a circle that's written like this, what is the center? 0, 0. The center is gonna be 0, 0 if I have something written like this. And then my radius would be 4. Does that make sense? Because there's nothing next to it. Okay, so take a second, go ahead and work on these two problems. Okay, so when I write the equation of this, okay, what I'm gonna get is x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared. My radius is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 squared is gonna give me 16. Okay, over here, what is my center? 0, 0. So that's gonna be x squared plus y squared. And then what's my radius? So that's gonna give me 64. Yep. Okay, yes. Say again. Because 4 squared is gonna give me 16. There's what? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 squared is 16. Does that make sense? Not the sure. Do you want to do another one? No? You sure? Okay. Yes.